you are cozy at home with your fridge well stocked with tasty leftovers. But before considering a trip to the kitchen to make that turkey sandwich, you may want to take a minute and think about food safety. Registered dietitian Jen Belanger is with us today to talk about what we need to know about leftovers and safely keeping perishable items. Welcome, Jen, and congratulations.
Thank you. Yes, we have a new little one trying to steal the show here.
Well, I'm glad that she's joining you for this segment. She's going to make everybody so calm and relaxed seeing that beautiful baby. But let's get to leftovers. How do you store leftovers safely?
Yes, so food safety is a huge concern, especially around the holidays, where we have lots of foods that have been prepared in the kitchen, lots of moving parts. So if you cooked your Thanksgiving dinner and you didn't get it into the fridge within 2 hours, it's very important that you reconsider if you're going to eat that food. So whenever we have leftovers that have been hot, something like turkey, like stuffing, mashed potatoes, we need to get those foods into the fridge and chilled within 2 hours of them being cooked. And that's because bacteria is much more likely to grow after that 2 hour mark. We have something in food safety called the temperature danger zone. This is the temperature between 40 and 140 degrees that bacteria grow at. So once your food has been in that danger zone for more than 2 hours, the bacteria on the food is just multiplying, and it's really not safe to be eating that food. So we've got to get it into the fridge, and not only in the fridge, but in the fridge in shallow containers. So we don't want to store food in any depth greater than 2 inches deep, because it's not going to give the food adequate time to chill in the fridge. So we want to transfer leftovers, say it's a big pot of mashed potatoes. We want to transfer those into smaller containers, 2 inches deep or less, and get them in the fridge that way.
Jen, what do you do with your pumpkin bisque? Do you have to put that in a shallow container as well?
Yeah, definitely. Anything like a soup, especially if it's got cream or milk, any kind of dairy product in it, definitely want to get that into a shallow container as well. And if you want to stick that in the freezer, same rule applies, got to get it in there within 2 hours.
Now, say you think you got them in there within 2 hours, but you're not quite sure. You know, today when you're heading in there to make that turkey sandwich, are there any indicators that you can see with your eyes or smell with your nose that indicate that it's not a good idea to dig on in?
It's such a tough call, because the thing about the viruses and the bacteria, the pathogens that cause foodborne illness, you can't see or taste them. So unless it's something like mold that you can very clearly see, it's a tough call to make, and something's not going to get moldy within just one day of it being in the fridge. So the bottom line really is, when in doubt, throw it out. If you think maybe it was 2.5 hours, you're probably going to be okay. But if you know that everything was sitting out, well throughout the dessert course, and things didn't get put away until, that evening, definitely, throw it away. It's just better to be safe. Food poisoning is something that is so, so serious, especially for high-risk populations. So people who are pregnant or have compromised immune systems, or just very sick in general, really need to be careful with foodborne illness. So when in doubt, throw it out.
Okay, now if you're thinking about the Thanksgiving table and all the delights that is found on it, what ones should we be most wary of today?
So the starchy dishes, like the mashed potatoes, if you had any sort of a rice or quinoa dish, if that's part of your Thanksgiving, those are very prone to growing a type of bacteria that can lead to some really not fun gastrointestinal symptoms. So those for sure. Of course, meat is going to be something that is going to grow bacteria, and the meat does cool off really quickly. Liquid items tend to stay hotter for longer, like soups and things, because there's just not as much surface area going on with a liquid as there is with something solid like the meat. So they're going to cool off quicker. So they've probably spent more time in that temperature danger zone. So I'd say the starchy dishes and the meat are what you want to really pay attention to. Fruits and vegetables can stay out for longer, but if they've got some kind of cream sauce on them or dairy, if they've got cheese mixed in, really want to make sure you drop that into the fridge in the right amount of time.
Okay, so say our fridge is stocked with leftovers. How long can we hang on to them?
General rule of thumb, according to the FDA, is 3 to 4 days.
Ah.
And of course, you use your best judgment. If something doesn't smell right, or if it's starting to look moldy, or starting to look a little gray and questionable, throw it out. But generally, 3 to 4 days.
Okay. Well, Jen Belanger and Mia, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. Welcome to the world, little Mia.
She says thank you in her dreams.